All right, it is 9:30, the Friday night hangout for October 13th. No, not 13th. What is this? October 23rd, 2015. You are listening to the live recording of the Friday night hangout. I'm here with another small panel. Carrie from Cape Breton is with us tonight. Hey, Carrie, how's it going?
Good evening, everybody. Everything is good here.
All right, excellent, Carrie. Small panel again for tonight. We're gonna take a little break next week, and then we'll resume the hangouts in November. And I think we'll be adding some new people here. I was talking to someone here on Twitter, and we'll add them to the bench. So we'll get that done. Didn't get around to adding people to the circles and stuff like that to this week, but we'll definitely do that as we do the annual renew of panelists to see people who want to jump in and try it out, see if it's their thing, and continue on and stuff. So last time we did that, we had Dan, and Dan has been a very good addition to the hangout. And I think we had Trudy also, and then we did the women's only kind of panel. So the people who want to jump in, they tend to do really good. So look for that. Look for some new faces coming up here in a little bit. Carrie, what are you drinking tonight, my friend? Since we're talking about beer, we're a small panel. What are you drinking?
Oh, I'm starting off with the Hell Bay Dark Cream Ale.
That's one of your favorites.
It's one of my favorites. Yes. Nice chocolatey flavor. A little bit of chocolate near the end.
Mm-hmm.
Pours good, nice dark color with a nice creamy head on it. Yummy. Good beer.
Excellent. I'll be starting off. I'll be drinking during the hangout. I'll be drinking Garrison's Double Jack, which is their pumpkin spiced beer, 8% ABV. I kind of like it because the spice combination isn't too bad, and it's 8%. So I'll get used to the spices really quick. But a beer that I really wanted to highlight is the one that I had when I got home tonight, and it took me pretty much 3 hours to work on here. And if you see it here at Rockhead, you'll be able to find it here. It's a beer from Quebec, in Mons, Abbey Double Style beer. This is also an 8% beer, and it has a whole bunch of award stickers here on the top. But I try this. Chill it just for like half an hour. If it's warm, you buy it warm. It's sitting on the shelf. Put it in the fridge for a half hour, 45 minutes. And it is really good. You got a nice Belgian sugar. It's a dirty brown appearance. It has a little bit of yeast in there. It feels like something that as you're drinking it, you don't need supper kind of to go with it. But it's actually a really interesting brew. So, and I was surprised that it was made out in Amos, Quebec. Open up your Google Maps to know where that is, but that is middle of nowhere. So it's always nice to see Quebec. Quebec's always been big on the Belgian styles. They're doing pretty crazy stuff here. All right, Carrie, we're going to do a quick start up here on some topics here, and the first topic is our federal election recap. And for people who are watching live, you can comment on the YouTube comments page, or if you have Twitter handy, you can use the Friday Night Hangout hashtag, and we can get to your comments here as we go along. Carrie, were you surprised about the end results around 11 o'clock when they started calling things?
Nope, not one bit.
I was surprised about New Brunswick. I didn't know they were going to go all liberal. PI kind of had a feeling. Newfoundland, you kind of knew for sure. Nova Scotia, you knew something was up in the air, but not the domination that the Liberals saw. And then you look across the country, it was very, very surprising. One of the things, Carrie, though, that just keeps hanging around for the last few days is how much of these NDP supporters are whining and complaining almost a week after, like, Megan Leslie lost her seat. It's unfortunate. Lost her seat. It's called democracy. But holy moly, they thought like some just scandal just erupted. We had pretty much 10% voter turnout increase from the previous election. What do you got to say? Like if we were to go back 4 years, weren't all these liberals kind of sounding the same, like kind of sour grapes? It's just
Probably. Another thing that I was thinking is that if we had there been a different leader 4 years ago, we probably would have saw something similar to the past election.
well,
And that's one thing that probably influenced a lot of the liberal vote, and that voter turnout, because some people just didn't want. I don't think they were ready for somebody like Ignatieff to be the party leader or even the leader of the country. So
oh yeah,
that's
back
one
in
thing that made the change from red to orange in some of those other ridings before. So
yeah. Well, that's a good point
that's my
here.
feeling anyway.
Well, people talk about the strategic voting and stuff, but when you have an increase of voter turnout, they probably are not coming out of the woodwork. They're probably not as familiar with NDP or Green Party and stuff. They probably would be maybe aligning to that, but they're going with what they know, and they chose for the liberal tide to go through. So I voted NDP in my riding, Halifax West. Jeff Regan, the liberal, he won, but I didn't want his margin to be that big. Although at the end he had this ridiculous margin of victory, so it's like it's a safe seat for him. So,
and a lot of them were very, very large margins.
oh.
The ones in New Brunswick, Tobique Mactaquac was close. It was going like this all night, and then
Yep.
then it shot up. So
Yeah. Tobic and the one up home, Madawaska Restigouche, Bernard Valcourt, he got trounced third place,
he
man.
did.
I tell you, he got just beat down. So it's just it just shows that people wanted change. When you're in government for 10 years, people want change.
Yeah, and they look at the history of what they did and they accomplished over the few years. I mean, Bernard Valcourt was not popular with the in his portfolio, and there were some others that weren't popular in their portfolio too. And if they're doing a bad job, then people don't want them. They want them to perform well.
I know, and that's a good point about the Aboriginal file. The Aboriginal women, missing women, murdered women issue here. That they probably didn't do very well. Well, they didn't do very well on that. So, folks, if you're watching us, you can leave a comment live. But what we're going to do here is do a quick check here. I'm just going to do one last call to the panel here. I know Mike from Newfoundland, he's trying to jump in here. He's having trouble jumping in.
Yeah, he's trying, but he's not getting in.
Not getting in. Kind of like that song Christine, that Stephen King, keep a knocking, but you can't come in kind of deal. But we're not going to spend too much time on the election stuff. I know it's come and gone, but I just found it very interesting that a lot of NDP supporters on Twitter and stuff, they're just losing their minds. They just don't know that democracy spoke, and there's more people that align with another point of view. So, but that's the fun part, eh?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're going to do a quick check on Twitter, and just a reminder, if you want to listen to this live, you can do this via podcast afterwards. We do post the podcast, posted last week's episode online, trying to find a good schedule to do this. Before we were doing a little bit of editing, kind of a best of, but guess what? It's a little bit of work. But we're gonna do the raw cut here. For Bahali, he's in Quebec City, I believe. And he's drinking a little bit beer here for his beer. He's drinking some Trou du Diable McTavish and a Archibald Lamatan. And we're gonna bring in Fibra Holly into the panel in a couple weeks. Actually, we're gonna bring him in November, so that he doesn't have to sit on the sidelines and commenting on Twitter. So we can bring him in and add some new blood to the Twitter. Kate, did you have the YouTube comments open now?
Yeah,
or?
one on the YouTube. It's from Andy F. Thanks for joining us, Andy. His comment is regarding the election. Is the NDP losses in Halifax and Sackville were extremely surprising. Very strong candidates lost their seats. NB losses not so much. That province will often swing strongly. He's from New Brunswick, and he remembers the McKenna Liberal sweep. One of the NDP candidates that I really liked and is very popular with the veterans was
Peter Stauffer.
And unfortunately, he lost the seat. And hopefully, we'll have somebody that can do just as well as he did in his as Veterans Affairs critic.
Yeah, you know what? I was down at the News 95.7 birthday bash a couple of weeks ago, and Peter Stauffer was doing his little bit, and I was talking to Megan, the producer there, and he came up, said hi to her, and he looked at me, "How are you doing, sir?" and shook my hand and all that stuff. And I was kind of like, before I realized who he was and stuff, I was like, oh, wait, I just want to say, you actually do a very good job as opposition critic of the Veterans Affairs Files. And you know what? As an opposition party, NDP federally, they did pretty good. Like Mulcair did a pretty damn good job doing his kind of like just prodding and stuff. So anyway, what are you going to do, right? All right, folks. We're going to move on to the next topic now. And this one's pretty interesting. Still a local story. But the title I gave it was kind of teasing. I'm trying to be more like CBC. If you notice CBC on Twitter, they're really trying to do the BuzzFeed kind of headlines. So I got one here for you. I says here, this is my headline. Teacher gave hand job to students. She's bipolar, so that's okay. That's my headline. Hopefully that's it. What is he talking about? Well, there's a trial going on right now in Pictou County. And it looks like there's a high school teacher that had a little fling with a couple of students. And she's up on charges here. Now, from Carrie, what I gather, the defense brought up a psychologist. And I guess the psychologist is a common defense, which is bipolar. So because she's bipolar, she was in that other state while she was, jerking off these two students. So she's not criminally responsible. Like, this is the defense. If you are a subscriber of Frank Magazine, they've been talking about this for a little while now. So it's kind of like one of these hockey rink moms that just really likes the boys. That's kind of if you want the gossip side of things here. But Carrie, it's like, this defense here being bipolar. If you're bipolar, you're not criminally responsible. Regardless of the situation here, that seems to be kind of weak sauce. What do you think?
It's amazing that these things happen. I mean, there's been a lot of other similar incidents that have happened around the province and in the region and anywhere. And don't teachers get taught these things that cannot do this with the people you're trusted to?
Well, you think there's like the handbook, do not section there, and you would have this kind of stuff here. So, but hang on here. Let me, as I bring up the story, maybe, perhaps.
And 10 days set aside for the trial. I mean, come on. I mean,
man, that's 10 days. Jeez. I tell you, that's a long one. Now, it's just tearing things up in the town now in Pictou because of,
Oh well, she'll have to find a job somewhere else.
Mhm. She's 40 years old, and with two boys. One was 16, the other one was 18. Started doing text messaging, and then little favors.
So 16, he's in senior high school. 18, he's not in high school anymore. So what is he doing in the school? He shouldn't even be there. He should have been graduated and out.
Well, maybe he's kind of had to repeat. But I just love the again. I'll read the quote from the defense here. At the time of these alleged acts, my client was suffering from a disease of the mind which rendered her incapable of appreciating the nature and quality of the act or knowing that the act was wrong. I tell you, just craziness. Craziness happened in Pictou County. Yep. I'll tell you what, something else that's crazy, Carrie, kind of related topic here. Are you sure you're getting your 12-inch sub? There was a lawsuit, Carrie. Somebody actually measured, got himself a Subway sandwich a foot long, and measured 11 inches.
That's been going around for a few years, hasn't it?
Yeah, well, they went to court. There's a lawsuit. Subway's going to ensure that you're going to get a foot long.
Well, it should be bigger than a foot long. Because to get the minimum size, you should have the minimum size, right? But once you let it sit in the proofer, and it should be bigger than the pan. If you make the pan 12 inches, then the bun should hang over it a little wee bit more, so that you're going to guarantee that, that's going to be it. Guarantee it's going to be that big.
Well, they're paying $500,000 to a number of plaintiffs who will be getting about $1,000 each in compensation for their lack of foot-long Subway subs. But Subway's a little bit
subs for life.
I tell you,
traumatized that badly.
I tell you, if I didn't have as much beer tonight, the puns would be coming out a little bit more freely here. But Subway's. Yeah, go ahead.
Not quite 10 o'clock yet.
No. People listen to a podcast, there is no time zones. We should be swearing as we would. Keep it blue. That's what they say. But somebody's in trouble right now. They got problems. Not only now that they're going to have to make sure their subs are 12 inches. They have this Jared situation going on here. I don't know if you remember that. Jared, the Subway sandwich dude, you've been seeing on ads for 15, 20 years now, arrested on child pornography charges. So, and apparently they seem to have known that he was a little problem for a while ago. So they're going to get a little bit of problems. They're going to have to start.
And that goes back to quality control of some places, and that's why you have Tim Hortons that has all their donuts now. They're at the same size as one is one. And that way people can't complain when they come in the store and say, hey, yesterday you got an apple fritter, it was this big. Today it's only this big. What's going on?
Yeah. Well, just the same thing, when McDonald's, if you're traveling and you're hungry, I'm pretty sure if you go to McDonald's, you know exactly what you're going to, when you order a Big Mac, it tastes pretty much like a Big Mac no matter where you are.
Yeah. Again, go from go have Kentucky Fried Chicken in Fredericton, drive 4 hours to Maine, and then have Kentucky Fried Chicken in Maine.
Well, actually, that KFC is different.
So you talk about different quality control?
Yeah, exactly. But now McDonald's know what time it is.
Yeah.
Actually, so I mentioned McDonald's a couple times because I tried for the first time today those kiosks that you enter, these huge LCD displays here. It's like this really tall TVs, and you punch in your order, you pay with your card, you get the receipt, your number, and then in a couple of minutes, some person yells out the number, and you pick up your number. kind of awkward when there's not a lot of people in the McDonald's, and you kind of like, I really don't know what I'm doing. Or when you're at the Scotia Square, the busy business center here, shopping mall here in Halifax, there's like lines of people, and you get this poor girl that just yells numbers and nobody's picking up. I'm almost tempted to go and just pick up a random person's order and stuff.
Oh, people will do that. People will do that. At least it's not coming out of a little slot down at the bottom of where you're waiting, standing in line.
So true, so true. Folks, if you're watching live, Friday Night Hangout hashtag, got people coming in, coming out, wondering what's going on. Where is the panel, Jim? What's going on? Well, people got stuff to do, obviously, but again, we're going to make a little bit of changes here in November. Take a little break next week because I'm out of town. But make sure you listen to the podcast edition here. Carrie, just give you a chance to refresh the YouTube comments here. But again, another comment on Twitter from Friday Night Hangout. Andrew, or Fribrahali here. Wow, that was a shock. He says, potential panel member. What? Better hit the gym and the old encyclopedia, he says. Yes, that's right. Start training. Start doing the Rocky 4 montages for your training. So we'll get you in here in a couple weeks here. So not a problem here. Any comments, Carrie, so far, or we're doing okay, or
trying to work through it?
Work through it. Okay. Let me just buy time here by letting you.
Hang on. I'll be back in a sec.
Back in a sec. Well, that's different. What'd you have to do? Hand crank the internet? Oh, yeah. The hell?
Yeah, I had to.
Little putty tat.
My little friend was in the wrong place.
Oh. It looks kind of new. Just got that this week?
Yeah, last week.
Oh. Little putty.
He's still exploring the house, and he's exploring the top of the table today. Yes.
Oh. Well, sad story. Our cat has been missing for the last 2 months, 3 months. Cat's not coming back. Unfortunately, and then I got this text. The missus sent me the text, and it's like, this looked like an injured cat on some poor lady's porch in Sackville, which is really far from where we are. And she was like, "It's the cat. It's our cat. We should go and help her." It's like, that's not our cat. Are you sure? I mean, yes, I'm sure. So I'm sure. The top picture is the missing cat in question. The bottom cat was our cat. You can see there's quite a bit of difference in the looks there. So, and of course you got the fur baby right there. So he's unfortunately not the same cat. So close, not quite, unfortunately. So you got a poor cat out there and doing that kind of stuff there. But anyway, got any comments, Kerry? Now that I bought you some time.
None.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, slow night. I mean, this is the time of year where you try to get the last minute stuff done before Christmas starts showing up in stores. But wish we could get into a time machine, Kerry. Go back in time. Just like Marty McFly this week, Back to the Future Day.
Yeah, well, that didn't work out well. Still here.
Lots of Delorean posts. Was it Food Transport Canada? Transport Canada did a recall on a Delorean this week, saying that when the car hits 88 miles per hour, bad things happen. Want to get that fixed. So a little nod to the movie. Carrie, this, I think it's safe to say that the first Back to the Future movie is a modern classic. I mean, you got Citizen Kane, and then you got Back to the Future. Like those, you have to put them in the same class because people are talking about this. It's such an event every October 21st.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those things that's going to roll around, and especially when you have dates on it, and people say, "Oh, I remember when I first watched that movie," and then you tell your children, "Says, well, maybe today we're going to watch this movie, and look what happened." And then the day comes along, and nothing happens, and everybody's like, "Oh, wow,
Quite,
that was no good."
yeah, quite a few posts on the internet will go through why Back to the Future is the most, is a perfect movie. Maybe not a perfect movie, but a very entertaining movie for sure. Especially if you're watching it at a young age.
Yeah.
I know right now the little one, well, she's two in a couple months. We're on the Netflix. I think I mentioned this last time. We're on the French or the France Netflix because we pay a couple bucks to switch countries and that kind of stuff for Netflix. Anyway, France, you can get all the Pixar and Marvel movies, by the way. But she's been watching Wall-E, Toy Story. But there was one movie that I bought off iTunes, and my wife was like, "Really? You're gonna?" I said, "Trust me, it's a classic." And that movie, which still gets replayed at least a couple times a week here, is The Iron Giant. It's an animated movie. Brad Bird, Vin Diesel is one of the voice actors. It's a kids movie. It's an anime movie. The Iron Giant. They got a signature edition out right now. I was pleased to see when I went into my Apple TV that I have access to the signature edition remastered stuff. It was the first movie that made you cry at the end, which starts the whole Pixar making adults cry when you watch their films. Have you seen that movie, Carrie, Iron Giant?
I can't remember if I watched it or not.
It's on Netflix. You might have to switch countries and stuff, but it is on there. It's a good movie.
I might have to wait till I get grandchildren.
I don't know. You can watch it. Carrie. You can watch it and cry all by yourself at the end because the ending is a tearjerker for sure. So, you don't have the kids in there. And you know what? It may be better you don't have the grandkids there because they'll prepare you the next time when you watch it with them, so that you're not bawling your eyes out and your grandkids. Why is Grandpa crying? It's like, just like watching Wall-E and Up from Pixar. I can't watch these movies anymore. For the first 10 minutes, I'm like, tears are going down my eye. I'm like, frick you, Pixar. Damn you. Anyway. Yeah. Wall-E. Last week, the little one was watching Wall-E. We watched it like 5 times, and I was like, I can't watch this. There's a section in the very beginning and stuff. I just can't watch it. I just can't watch it. The when he's all alone on Earth and all that stuff. Oh, yeah, I can't even get started. All right, we're going to move on to the next topic here. We're going to move on to the next one here. But before we do that, Carrie, we're going to talk about what we're drinking tonight. A few people watching. I'm going to start off here. I'm drinking right now the Garrison Double Jack, 8% pumpkin ale. A little bit more spices than pumpkin. I like it only because it has a nice spice mix. It's cold. You're putting on wool blankets or wool clothing, turning on the heater. It's kind of nice, warm in your belly kind of beer. 8% also helps with that aspect. So I've been drinking that. I won't drink the whole bottle tonight. Bottle cap goes back on it, goes back in the fridge. But the one that I was drinking when I got home tonight, and it took a very long time to get through this bottle, just probably goes to show the quality. And this is a beer from Quebec. This is Mons, a Abbey-style double beer, 8%. And you can find this at Rockhead if you're in town here locally. It's $10 a bottle, but you know what? I worked on this all night, or all evening from 3 hours to work on this. Very, very good beer. Nice, very interesting style. Carrie, what are you drinking tonight?
I'm drinking a Hell Bay Dark Cream Ale. Because I like it, and I found two in the beer store that were reduced in price, so I bought them. I'm going to probably switch to my second favorite, which is the Vickers Cross, in a few minutes. But that's really hoppy beer, and that'll get me sneezing, and that just happens to me.
Yeah. Well, hence why you stick with the malty beers for sure. Anybody who's been watching the Hangouts, know that you're on the malty stuff here.
They do have some Chimay in the beer store in Place Bay and around town, so I might grab one of them next time.
Well, you know what? If you were to buy a Chimay Blue, which I believe is $12 or $13 at the NSLCs, this is $10. What you should do is, get a buddy and chill these at the kind of the same temperature, not cold, but just enough chilled, and do a compare. Do a taste compare, and I think it'll be very interesting what you'll get off of that. So, off these Abbey style beers. So we're trying to get Mike into the Hangout.
He's working on it. He's fighting through whatever he's doing.
Mm-hmm. Trudy from BC, she's off to see the BC Lions and Hamilton Tiger Cats tonight, so she can't join us here. We got Mike. Oh my God, Mike, how's it going? Oh, you okay, Mike? Stop running.
Sit still.
Mike. How are you, Mike? People watching the podcast, listening to the podcast, be like, "What the hell's going on right now?" Mike's just getting stuff all adjusted here, getting his audio all set up. He's figuring it out, putting on the headphones. No headphones. It'll come. Carrie, the last story that we had picked for tonight, the biggest hurricane, Hurricane Patricia, is coming up Mexico. I don't have cable. I have no idea what's going on. I haven't seen any reporters with rubber boots standing in the pool of water talking about the hurricane coming. Have you been watching the news today? Know what's going on?
I just watched some of the, just picked it up from Atlantic Hurricane Center and some of the other ones on the news and stuff. Yeah, it's going to be a big one. Unfortunately for those poor people in Mexico, it's going to be rough on them.
Yeah, it seems to be the biggest one in terms of intensity since someone in the Philippines in about 3 or 4 years. There was a big storm there. I forget what the name was, but definitely they haven't seen one like that in quite a while. This is a system that's going to hit us all the way up in Nova Scotia, Carrie, because it's going to go right across the states and right
through Tornado Alley and stuff all the way right across. So it's going to be a good weather maker. Plus, it's going to cross Mexico and then pick up more water in the Gulf of Mexico and then keep going.
And did we lose Mike? We lost Mike. Mike's been trying to get in here. Kind of got. Trudy from BC says here there's so much camo going on she can't see me. She says I'm hiding. So no. Thanks, Trudy, for messaging us. Have a good game. I was debating, Carrie, because I'm going next week. Reason why there's no hangout next week. I will be in Winnipeg next week. And I'm thinking, should I go to a hockey game? Is there a football game going on? Is there a Manitoba Moose game? What's going on? And what's going on in Winnipeg? Where can I go get a cup of coffee in Winnipeg? So, folks, if you're watching and you want to give me some tips, Friday night hangout on Twitter or in the YouTube comments. And
you definitely have lots of choices. Lots of choices.
Well, it's definitely a good-sized city. I guess they call it roughly the same size as Quebec City, which means that you can get around town pretty quick. It doesn't take long to traverse the town. It's not quite spread out, quite as wide as Ottawa, for example, or even Halifax. Halifax is kind of spread out for what it is.
Yeah, and the roads are pretty fairly straight, so if you know where you're going, you can get there, and you go do the ring roads and around town and everything else. But just trying to think now. It's been so many years since I've been to Winnipeg. I forget where everything is. But you probably should be able to get to a game or something anyway.
Yeah, it should be something here. I know my time is limited in the city here, but I should be able to get to something here. So,
Are you're not going to Polo Park or anything like that, or near Polo Park?
Yeah, I am actually. One of the places I need to visit. Part of the trip. The trip is not just a recreation trip. I do need to visit certain establishments, certain outdoor establishments that sell camouflage gear, for example. But yeah, one of them is in Polo Park, actually.
Yeah, there's lots of stuff around there.
Yeah, Google Streets has been helping me a lot. Now, the funny part, I have contacts in Winnipeg. I've been messaging them. They've been kind of slow getting back to me there, so I don't know if that's a sign that I should probably remove them as contact entries, but I understand it's starting to get cold out there. Maybe they're just busy, I don't know, gathering wood or something. I don't know what they do out there. I don't know if they're oil or wood heating. I don't know.
Both.
Any comments on the YouTube, Carrie?
Nothing. I just checked. There's nothing there.
Nothing there. No, kind of slow here on the Twitter. But that's the way it is. And so we had tried Mike getting in here, and Mike hasn't been able to jump into the Hangouts.
No,
he's been doing a lot of renovations here, but just getting a lot of trouble getting in here. So the last night, Carrie, last night I was participating in another Hangout, part of another podcast, Cache Maniacs. Does that ring a bell?
Yeah, and I read that on Google Plus a little while ago, and I would have probably enjoyed jumping in on that one.
Yeah. So Cache Maniacs, for those who are not interested in geocaching, you're probably not going to be interested in this, but I got invited to talk about GPS receivers for geocaching or for in general usage there. So it's one of these topics that really gets people going in terms of what GPS should you use and such. So nice little conversation there. I see Mike was able to jump back in. Mike, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yay.
Okay.
Welcome, buddy.
I can't
Mike,
see anyway yet.
Can't see you. That's okay. We can see you and we can hear you. Mike, what are you drinking? Obviously, with all that effort to try to get into the Hangout after like 45 minutes, you must be drinking a beer to celebrate. What are you drinking?
I've got a Goose Island IPA. It's 6.9% strong ale, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's yeah, we've been pretty lucky. We got the Goose Island IPA also in cans, and you know what? I've been buying a lot of that Goose Island last little while. I mean, I think that is a really good IPA, good price. It's $3.60 a can for us here, because some of my favorite beer is getting up in price. It's getting up very close to the $7 range, and that's just getting a little too expensive for me. So I'd rather get a little bit more volume and still get some good quality there, good taste.
I picked up another Goose Island one tonight. I have to check the fridge now in a few minutes because the first Goose Island is just about gone.
Yeah, Goose Island had I think Matilda, and then there was another one here that they put out to you. But Mike, we were talking about Hurricane Patricia. What's going on in Mexico? Are you keeping an eye on that?
Apparently, it's supposed to be the worst hurricane on record that they have forecast.
Yeah, well, definitely from the definitely from the satellites or some of the imagery there, it definitely looks like a doozy for sure. But like I was saying to Carrie, I don't have cable. I haven't seen any reporters with the rubber boots in water to tell me how bad it is.
Apparently, they're evacuating a lot of the resorts today, and they're it's supposed to be a bad one. I think they said over 210 miles an hour sustained winds. It's something like 300 kilometers an hour. They're expecting.
Jesus,
It's going to be scary.
damn. And we're gonna get the remnants of that by next week. So it's not like it's gonna stay down in Mexico or Texas. It's coming. It's coming for us, really.
Yeah, they say it's probably going to be a lot of heavy rains for us, but we probably will miss all the wind in that. Or
That'd
what
be
they're
nice.
predicting now.
That would be nice because I'm looking at the extended forecast and I have flights. And yes, that's my one big thing. I don't like flying in general, and I don't like flying in storms. That's
No.
so. Mike, we've kind of burnt through all the topics here. Now that you jumped in here, I just wanted to make sure there's any additional topics here that we wanted to talk about. I know you suggested a whole bunch of these here, and I didn't.
Hoverboard.
Well, okay, the hoverboard. You know, I posted a picture on Twitter yesterday, and it wasn't necessarily a hoverboard, but it was
like
some dude on some type of board.
The huge quadcopter. Is that the one?
No. He's on. I don't be able to see it here.
Underwater?
No. It looks like a Segway. But it's really, really small. It almost looks like skateboard size, but it's kind of like a Segway. Anyway, Buddy here was going down the street with us yesterday, and he had his little kid, like 4-year-old or whatever, just in the perfect position to get a face plant or dental surgery. And I'm thinking, is this what you do now? You go pick up your child and you get on this thing and you're gonna face plant? Like, I don't know. Hang on a second. I'm trying to find it here. Let me try to find it. Oh, here we go. I don't know if you guys can see it here. This is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So this little, it's not a hoverboard, but I'm seeing a lot of these little Segway type kind of rolling pins. You can see the child right there just hanging with a little bicycle helmet. She needs a full face hockey mask. That's what she needs. Anyway.
That's going to end bad.
Do a search for Solo Gear K3.
Solar Gear KC? Is that what that is?
The Solo Gear K3 hoverboard. No. Forget that one.
Hey, we should ask people.
We're going to post it.
I know people are probably watching the Jays game, so we should find the score. Anybody got the score for the game?
2-1 for KC.
2-1 KC. What was the inning? Fourth?
I can't remember.
Yeah.
Okay, I got to post something here from CBC, so it's pretty good. It's relevant news. It's from CBC.
Okay. I was go through that. Refresh the YouTube page here. We're going to check some comments here. So. All right, so Canadian inventor tests the prototype of record-setting hoverboard. So he's been working on a top-secret next-generation version of the fan-driven board. And let's see, he can fly up to 5 meters above a lake, distance of 275 meters on his homemade propeller-powered hoverboard that lasted 1.5 minutes. Yes.
It's like an oversized quadcopter.
Yeah.
It does. And I wonder if it's the same guy who was trying to make the flight suit, also from Quebec, also top secret. Maybe not. Maybe not that guy. Carrie, what have we got on the YouTube?
Probably nothing except Vickers Cross.
What? Come on, Carrie. Hang on a second. Let me check. I thought I saw.
I don't.
No, I saw a ding. No, hang on. Let me
Fresh.
bring it. Damn it. I'll bring it up.
Refresh.
Come on. I thought I saw something from Grease Stain.
Maybe you did. Maybe you didn't.
I'm pretty sure I saw something from our friend Grease Stain. All right, Grease Stain says, I wish I had more to say tonight. Seems like YouTube is too quiet. Indeed, too quiet. Hey, we're going to talk about
That's exactly what he said.
the Jessica Jones trailer. I don't know if anybody's watching the Netflix, but Marvel will have their new TV series, Jessica Jones, next week, I think, or the week after. We had the first full trailer today, so it looks pretty interesting. You know, people seem to be happy with it, of the representation of the character. Have you guys watched the Daredevil series on Netflix?
No, I have not.
Part 2, do you guys have Netflix?
Yes.
No, I do not.
Okay. So, Carrie, when you have Netflix, you go start watching Daredevil. You'll thank me. You're welcome. And and Mike, how come you don't have Netflix? Oh, I can't hear him.
Nope.
No, the audio. No, I can't hear you.
Nope. You can't shout loud enough
No.
to me. I can't relay it.
Oh. Are we getting to that point, Carrie, where it's surprising when you run into somebody who doesn't have Netflix these days? Or a streaming box like an Apple TV, Roku, Chromecast? I mean, next week, the Apple TV will have their latest iteration, and that's going to be a pretty big piece, and we're tempted to upgrade. It's going to be like $160, probably going to be $200 to buy this new thing. One of the things, Carrie, that it's going to include is the Home Kit, which is a framework for the Internet of Things, the light bulb that you can control with your iPhone, or the lock that you can tell, lock all the doors, please, or the security doorbell kind of thing. So the Apple TV becomes the hub for those devices, and you use your iPhone, iPod, iTouch, whatever it is, to connect to that.
Yeah, and I just saw something on the National Post that the landline and the traditional television are going to become something like the dodo.
Well, ESPN, the bellwether, right? That is the reason why we don't have programming a la carte for cable. ESPN is the definition. That's what's holding cable together. They laid off a number of people. They laid off, I think, 4% of their staff this week. They're losing subscribers. There's not as many people watching the sports. It's getting very competitive now. You have all the leagues with their own packages. People seem to gravitate towards that. So ESPN is doing a rough time. So if they are doing a rough time, this whole cutting the cord thing might be a little bit more serious.
Yeah, and the only thing I fear about that there is that then we'll start getting charged by bandwidth, and then.
Well, we're already getting throttled.
Yeah.
Anytime that you have your bill and they'll tell you you've used this much of your internet cap, they're looking at your packets. They know, they're looking what you're doing on it. So it's not like they don't know how much internet you're using. Yeah, they know. If they're able to tell you.
But I mean, exactly. But when they say that now we're going to start charging you for what you're using, and that's when you'll see either we're going to revert back to what we used to do, or we'll be uprising, because everybody's connected, whether it's by their PC or by their phone. It's something that we want.
Yep.
And the consumers are driving it. And if all these companies say that we're going to charge by bandwidth, then we'll just go mad. We'll go mad.
Totally. Okay. Yeah. No. Go ahead, Kerry.
It's not any different than some things that, I mean, you see these futuristic television shows that this is the way it's going to be. I mean, we're working way beyond the Dick Tracy things, way beyond we're moving into those things like Star Trek, where we have little wee communication devices, and
oh wait, well, we're already there, right? You know,
when we get into that thing like the version 2 Battlestar, Battlestar Galactica, where we have these, where tech is leading everything we do.
Mike, can you hear us, buddy? Can you say something?
I can still hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, a little choppy up in Newfoundland. Must be a storm coming.
I'm just on a little echo tonight. The Mac wouldn't connect for me.
Pretty choppy, Mike. Is very choppy.
Yeah, I think I'll just call it night, and because it's not working.
Okay, perfect, Mike. Thanks for trying, though.
Okay, have a good show.
Okay, we'll get you in a couple weeks. All right, thanks, Mike. Mike from Newfoundland. You know, we try to carry a coast-to-coast podcast or hangout. You know, yeah, sure, we're based in Nova Scotia, but we had Mike here in Newfoundland. We had Trudy a little while ago. She's from BC. We got Pribra Holly up in Quebec. And sometimes we get people from Ontario, too. So, you know, we're doing pretty good representation-wise. People on that. But, Carrie, I think what we're going to do here, we're just going to start widening things down for a night. I know it's small panel, small topic list this week. I'll give you a chance to just hit refresh on the YouTube one more time here, and I'll do a quick check on the Twitter. Folks, if you want to listen to the podcast version of this, I highly recommend it. Get your podcast MP3, whatever phone you're using. Downcast is what I use. But listen to the podcast. It is fairly entertaining. There was a point I used to do the best of version of this live recording, but it took a little too much time, my time, to get out, and I wasn't able to pump it out fast enough. So if you're going to subscribe to the podcast, you'll get pretty much the raw version of this. So that's why we're going to try to cap the time a little under an hour, so that it's not too bad when you're listening to it. Carrie, any comments? No, nothing. Pretty quiet.
No, I'm just going to say that there's 4 ingredients in this bottle.
Water.
Yep.
Malt. Barley.
No.
Hops.
One more. Yeast, and it makes a good beverage.
Yeast. Yes, yeast. Yeast is what eats the sugar that is produced from the malt, the sugars from the malt, and actually produces the alcohol. And if you were to grab the Garrison Tickle Me Fancy IPA, collaboration IPA that they pulled out, and you're thinking, this is kind of sweet tasting. What's going on? That is because the yeast did not eat the sugars. And I was talking with the brewmaster, and he did find that it's a little sweeter than his taste for a wet hop IPA. And he was talking about first generation yeast strains and all this stuff. And my eyes started to roll, but I was like trying to comprehend what he was saying here. But, you know, yeast is an important part, Carrie. You know, you need your sugar and you need your yeast. Get the alcohol, my man.
So true.
Yep. All right, so with that, we're going to wind down for tonight, folks. I know short hangout. We usually do another half hour, but small panel. We had technical issues here, but we're going to take a break next week The week after that, we're going to come back live. If I were able to do this from Winnipeg, I'd do it, but I'm not bringing the laptop with me, so I just can't do this thing with I do here with the stuff here. So anyway, thank you everybody for jumping in for tonight. Thank you, Carrie, for joining us. Thank you, people, for watching, commenting, and we see you guys next time. Good meeting, Carrie.
Good meeting. Thanks for joining.